and T 148835. And counsel, if you'd like to make appearances.
Sure, Your Honor. Jordan Garcia, bar number 12374, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff. I'm bundled today, and he's here.
Okay.
I'm Janet Kelleran, appearing for Damian Sheets, Mayfield Hoover and Sheets. My bar number is 9739, and my client, Jeanette, is here.
Very good, and good morning. All right. There's a number of issues that we need to address. One, I do not, on Dad's financial disclosure form, he did not provide any pay stubs, so I don't know if he has that information with him, but we don't have it. As to, I don't have a financial disclosure form from the mother, and also if there's an arrears, you're to prepare a schedule of arrears. I don't have that either. It appears as to the father is now working locally as far as his trucking. And so I have a question for you. What is your current living arrangement?
Right now I'm staying with a friend at his place over on by Cheyenne and Nellis.
What kind of, do you have a room there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who all lives there, sir?
Just myself. It's a private back house of a...
Guest house?
Yeah, kind of like a guest house.
Okay, and how big is that guest house, sir?
I'd say about 600 square foot, maybe less.
And there, is it all one living area? Is there a separate bedroom?
It's kind of like a studio, small studio, very small.
All right. Other than requesting visitation with the children now that you're here locally, it seems there should be something in place where there's a that both parties can count on, a fixed order, a fixed time. Other than until you get somewhere maybe a more amenable to having the children overnight, is that something you're okay with, sir?
I'm working on that right now. I have an application in for a studio apartment, a large studio apartment, and I'll find out on Wednesday. And I have another place, which is a one-bedroom apartment at Avion Apartments on Hollywood and Lake Mead.
Okay.
I have two places in play.
What I would be inclined to do as far as on the visitation, now that you're here locally, I'd like the parties and counsel just to use one of my room and have a discussion as to what visitation would look like right now. And then also once he's in a more stable environment, which is cohesive or conducive to having the children there stay overnight.
I actually suggested, we were talking about this before we came in, Your Honor.
Okay.
We were trying to get this figured out before we got in.
All right.
So I don't know, where are we at with that,
Well,
counsel?
But Judge, I thought Mr. Garcia made a great suggestion
Okay.
of, until he does have a place that has the appropriate beds and everything, that he could take the children possibly on Saturday and Sunday. My thought was 2 weekends a month. They asked for 3 weekends a month, which is understandable because even though he's local, he does work out of town. He doesn't have the opportunity to take them to dinner on Wednesdays like other people. So, however, one of our concerns is that the boys both absolutely love and are crazy about ice hockey. And on Sunday, they have a practice that goes usually from 1:30 to 6:30.
Is there some reason why Dad could not take them there if they're crazy about it?
No,
I'd love
he'd
to.
like to.
I'd love to.
We just want to make sure, Judge, that they get there. There have been problems before, where he didn't have a vehicle. And then when school starts, I know the older son, I think JR, will be having band practices and things like that. They're going to be very, very active in their school activities, so it's really important that they could keep up with those. There was an incident, though, as I wrote in our opposition, at the skating rink, and
I don't know if there is a trespassing order against him there. That I don't know.
I think he was.
No.
Well, you were escorted
Yeah,
off the
but
property.
there's-
It might be.
I was just told to go outside.
Okay, so he doesn't have a trespass where if he were to go over there with the kids, that'd be a problem.
But
I believe it is.
we had discussed keeping the TPO in place with no communication, no texting, no calling between them. Possibly just by email or I like the family wizard idea. but of course, they would both want to attend school activities, so we would need to, if you're agreeable to keeping it in place, Judge, we do need to amend it so that they could both be at the activities.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I can either keep it in place or I can make an order of this court, which would be subject to contempt and 25 days in jail. It would be a no contact order, and then we could define as to what contact would be appropriate if they're attending, let's say, a hockey game together, ice hockey, or a school activity. But as far as going to somebody's place of residence, somebody's employment, or anywhere outside of this order, obviously, I mean, the kids are old enough that, you could do a honk and seatbelt rule where somebody could just, there's no reason for the parent who's dropping off to go near the door or inside the house, and there's no reason for the other parent to come outside. I mean, we've got kids who are, old enough that they can walk in on their own. So I can address that by way of a no contact order, that it may be easier to get around than a TPO as far as, allowing some contact. So that would probably be my thought on it.
That would work for us. That would get accomplished what we want.
Well, one thing, Judge, on the no contact is
Subject again to
I mean, I would still have to be. He has to stay at least 100 feet away from her, because you can do that in a hockey game. It's in a huge rink. You can do that.
We can certainly do that. And sir, as far as a no contact order, that means that if you were to violate my order and they bring it in and show me you violated it, you could sit in jail for 25 days for each violation. Until this boat gets righted, that's probably what we need to do on it. So, as far as if you happen to be at a school event or a hockey game where you're both present, there'd be no reason whatsoever that the two of you would communicate there, have any discussion. Any discussion that you have regarding the children or their needs should not be done at a place where the two of you are present. That should be done probably through, I kind of like the Family Wizard. I think it's $100 a year to do that. It allows this court to see communication also. And what I would tell the two of you, it's a lot cheaper than having, if you can resolve these issues through here, it's a lot cheaper than having counsel and being in court. So the court is going to order that. Do you have access to a computer, sir?
Yes.
And you do also, ma'am? We'll give you information on that. I'm going to request that within the next 7 days the two of you sign up and start participating on that. The court would probably be inclined at this point to do the every other weekend as far as a visitation. That's going to work out, I think, out of the 12 months, I think he'll get 3 weekends out of that, the way that will work.
Okay.
We'll define the weekend as being the first, I guess, first Friday of the month will be the
Beginning?
well,
Okay.
hold on. Well, we're just doing every other weekend, so
Mhm.
do we know as far as 4th of July how they're going to handle that as far as a regular, just a holiday schedule?
The original shows that I have them on odd years.
So you would have this 4th of July. So that would be next weekend. So why don't we start the every other weekend next weekend, where you have that 4th of July weekend, and then we'll just go every other weekend on that. As to additional time when Dad becomes more stabilized as far as his living arrangements, and that it would be appropriate for the children to stay overnight, then what the court is going to require that the two of you meet and confer in order to reach some type of an agreement. If the two of you don't need an attorney, you can do a stipulation in order and submit it, and I will sign off on it. To the extent that you want to utilize family mediation to address those issues, you can do that also. At this point, Mom has primary physical custody, sir. In order to change that, you would have to show a significant change in circumstances that would warrant me changing it to joint physical custody. And right now, I'm not seeing anything based on your current living situations and what's gone on to show that that is warranted. But notwithstanding, once you're more stable, there should be no reason why you couldn't have overnights with the kids. All right, so stipulated to that, counsel?
Yeah, that as far as that goes, yes, I think that works.
Yes, Judge, so for now, he will pick them up on Fridays and Saturdays, like from 10 to 6 or something like that.
Was it Friday or Saturday or Saturday or Sunday?
He doesn't get off till the evening.
Right, so,
I get off early in the afternoons.
right, well, initially, that's, if we could, because let's not start Fridays, because
Yeah,
he doesn't
okay.
have overnights. So I'd maybe initially start Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday. Then why don't we just start it that schedule starting next weekend?
Then maybe 10 to 6 works?
Yeah, 10 to 6.
And then on the 4th of July weekend, which is a Thursday, then why don't we just give him... Are you off that day, sir? Do you know?
I'm off at the weekend on that, and
It's on a Thursday, though.
The actual 4th.
Yes, I'm off, and I'll be off on the Friday weekend, whatever the
So you have a 4-day weekend?
yes. And I'd like to get a room and have my children stay with me that whole weekend, except unless there's a hockey event on that Sunday, in which case I would have them at the hockey event. But it's been 5 years since I've actually been around my children full time on a regular basis.
As for right now, since we don't have
I'll
something...
rent a room.
Hold on, let the judge talk.
As far as the 4th, which is a Thursday, why don't we do maybe from 10 in the morning till 10 in the evening, so he could do fireworks and whatever with the children. To the extent, sir, that on that Friday that you have off, do you have any opposition of him having that day also, ma'am, the Friday?
Friday the 5th.
Yes. All right. Why don't we do a 10 to 10 on the on Friday the 5th, and then once you get in a permanent place, sir, which apparently you're working on, the two of you are going to meet and confer. We could. My suggestion would be, why don't we? I'm going to re-refer you to family mediation today. That way the two of you there'll be an independent person there. It will be here at the courthouse. You won't have any safety concerns, that you can work, what that arrangement would be out once Dad has a stable environment. Because that way then I can control over, the environment where the two of you have a discussion. Otherwise it's going to be a little bit difficult because you're going to need some time on that. And with my no contact order, I don't think right now that would be a good idea, that the two of you are somewhere where you don't have counsel or the court kind of supervising that. So I'm going to send you to mediation. You can go downstairs when you leave here and set that up. And then and that will just be contingent on Dad, being able to show that he's got reasonable accommodations where, the children would be able to stay. If, ma'am, if there's somebody that you would have that would be able to go over with you, because I don't want the two of you in the same space, I would want you to at least be able to go to that place and just make sure that it's an appropriate place where the kids would be able to stay. And your counsel can maybe just discuss that with you a little bit more on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have a return date on the mediation. That date is going to be?
August 29th at 9:30.
I would like Dad to provide, sir, you're getting paid on, they pay you a paycheck?
Right now,
Here, hold on. Right now, he's actually getting paid cash, Your Honor, but he's expecting to be on payroll within about a month. So that's actually why there's a lack of pay stubs attached to the FDF. But he's anticipating being on payroll in about a
So,
month.
who are you working for, sir?
company called Sunrise Enterprises. It's a construction gravel.
And it's a legitimate company.
Yes, sir.
Is there some reason why they're paying you cash instead of a payroll?
Because the job that we had anticipated on was underbid from us, and so
I believe they're saving money, Your Honor.
they're saving money right now to offset the loss of that contract. And we have other contracts starting this week to go throughout the summer and fall into
What I was talking
Christmas.
with counsel about is that basically on a return, since you've already set it up, he can show that. In the meantime, we should have a wage assignment. He pays the DA based on what this is, what he's saying it is, and if it turns out that it's wrong, Your Honor could adjust it back to what it should have been as a misrepresentation if he's making it up.
And Judge, we will provide you with the FDF and the schedule of arrears that are claimed for this year.
Okay, I'd like to have that done within the next 30 days, counsel.
Okay.
He's going to have to, within the next 30 days, counsel, I'll even give him 45 days because I think we have about a 60-day return from family mediation. He's either going to have to provide his pay stubs that he's now getting at that time to show what, proof of what his earnings are, or he's going to have to get a letter from this corporation on their letterhead, which they probably won't want to do because if they're paying him cash, so they should probably pay him some type of a pay stub so we actually see what it is. And the court is going to address the child support and the arrears on the return. What the court can do as far as I can go back. At this point, since I don't have anything and he's just saying it's cash, I can go back and adjust it from the time that he filed his motion. I can go back retroactively to that time. I can't go back prior to that, but the court will address that. And as far as how I address, financially moving forward on that, we'll do that on our return date.
It would make more sense once we get some pay stubs that
Yes.
we can figure it out.
Now, the other thing is there were some issues regarding the financial issues from the divorce decree that mom has been paying, making payments. There's, looks like she is to get sole title use of possession and registration of the 2002 Ford truck in her possession. And page 4 of 6, that Ricardo will have as his sole separate debt the title loan taken out on the 2002 Ford truck. And apparently mom has been making that payment, sir, and there's still an outstanding amount due, I believe, in approximately 400 something. Is that correct, ma'am?
No, now I just owe 200.
All right, sir.
But
Is there something that you can do to start making payments to her regarding that?
As soon as I can, yes.
Your Honor, I believe what's been happening is, unfortunately, they have not been good about keeping things regular and paying things on a standardized basis. He sends her money, tells her to pay for things, where that money's being attributed to. I mean, the parties are mixing funds, and it's making it a nightmare to figure out what has been paid for what.
Well, if he had the obligation, he should have paid the title loan directly.
Correct. Absolutely, Your Honor. But that's not what they were doing.
All right. Did you file taxes for 2012 already, sir? Did you get a refund back?
Yes, and it's been. It was only $800 refund.
Well, counsel, I don't know what I'm going to address that on the return also. What I'm probably going to put in place until he's caught up on that, on his arrears, on his on this money that, and by the time we return, you'll probably have it paid off. If you can just bring into court how much you paid, whatever tax money he gets back in the future until these are all paid off, that money, in addition to what he's paying, is going to go towards those arrears. I mean, you can put that in the order from today. Does somebody want to prepare the order from today and have,
I can prepare the order, Judge.
and then you'll sign off, counsel?
Yes.
All right. Then we will see you back here
Judge?
on, yes.
Just one last thing. My only other concern on the no contact and the visitation, and I discussed this
Sure.
with counsel a little, is that the boys felt that, Dad was talking, as we were about, he's talking bad about their mother, talking about what she was doing, this is wrong, putting things on Facebook. And so I would just ask that you instruct
Do I have a behavior order in place?
Mr. Aguilar not to discuss court
think there
or
was
their mother with
The
them.
current one, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to put a behavior order in place. Sir, your children are entitled to be completely unaware of any issues here in court. What that means, sir, is they're entitled to live a peaceful life, and that neither parent interject, your thoughts of the other parent. They should have a good, healthy relationship, and the two of you should foster a good, healthy relationship with your children and the other, the other parent. I'm going to put a behavior order, again, subject to 25 days contempt. You can't talk to them about this. If you have any issues, you're going to use Family Wizard, and that's between the two of you. If you have any disagreements, you cannot tell your children about it. That's not fair to them. It's bad enough the two of you are divorced, but to get them stuck in the middle of a nasty divorce, that's not fair to your children. So you cannot, they're off limits. You understand that, sir? Is there any question about that? At some point, if I bring in the children and have them interviewed from this day forward, they should not have any information about, what's going on in visitation, what's going on, as far as custody, child support. They're off limits. You understand that, sir?
Yes, I do.
About the visitation, they're not allowed to know about the visitation. I mean,
No.
As far as
I understand.
disagreements between the two of you.
Oh, okay.
Or, they can
But I mean, they need to have a set schedule.
Yeah,
That is-
they can know about
That's
that, but if
different.
there's some dispute between the two of you regarding visitation custody, they should not be involved.
Right,
Does that
okay,
make
I
sense?
understand.
Just be
Okay.
I was
told what
confused.
is. Yeah.
All right, so that being said, counsel, I'll have you prepare, and then counsel for dad sign off on it, and we'll see you back here on.
August 29th at 9:30.
All right. Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
day.
much.
You're welcome. Good seeing you, counsel.
You too. Are we off the record?